See what life is like for migrants in New York City, tent city. Now, before everyone starts getting all angry with me and whatnot, I am watching CNN. I'm not saying I like CNN. I know they're a liberal media. And I know that already here they're calling migrants, but we all know who it is. They're illegal immigrants. There's a difference between immigrants who arrive here illegally, like my parents did, and there's illegal immigrants. I mean, I don't know if I need to explain it, but illegal immigrant coming here unasked, without permission, staying here. But let's see what this has to say, because it is an issue in America. It's a growing issue, and a lot of people are frustrated, understandably.
A warm meal after a day of cooking over an open flame on a shopping cart turned stove outside Randall's Island migrant tent city. Robinson Bata says he shares this pot of rice with fellow migrants on the island, home to one of New York City's sprawling tent facilities built with capacity to house 3,000 men and women.
3,000 men and women. That's just one facility, right? And we know there's millions of illegals coming in. One of many frustrations is that this requires a lot of resources. House, shelter them, feed them, right? Who's paying for it? You and I, right? This is a big issue with illegal immigrants. And plus they're typically uneducated. They don't, there's a stigma that crime follows pursuit. It's unfortunate because everyone paints them with the same broad paintbrush, right? You're gonna have bad apples in them. I understand that these people are just too poor to start the legal process. I know some people are like, just start the legal process, this and that. If you don't know, and if you're frustrated, start the legal process, you probably don't know that on average it takes 7 years to get the legal process to be allowed to come in the country, get your green card, work. If you come from a family that isn't crazy poor from whatever country you're from, it's easy to get your passport and get the process going, especially if you can prove that you are an added benefit to your communities rather than a burden. It's very easy to get permission to come in the country. For illegal immigrants, they're just way too poor to start the legal process. And even if they had the money, they're not going to wait 7+ years. For them, it's I'm just going to hop aboard and take my chances. That's why millions of them are doing this. And for us, the citizens, we feel the burden because our taxes are high. And we feel unsafe because then you see them all over your neighborhood. It's just like living in an area where a neighborhood that's riddled by homeless, you want to get out because crime is going to fall pursuit. Not real huge difference here. For some of these immigrants, these illegal immigrants rather, they're going to hit a roadblock where they're not really progressing up, and the only way they can fully survive and get a better meal is to commit crime, take their chances. I digress. I'm going to keep watching this.
Winston, 31 years old, is from Colombia. Just one of the more than 170,000 migrants who have arrived.
170,000 migrants arrived in New York, in a month span?
City since the spring of last year.
Wow, since spring of last year, that's a lot. I mean, they're calling them migrants, of course, CNN, right? We all know illegal, but that's a lot of resources. That's a lot of money. I know some people can be like, oh, what about the Ukraine wars? That. I know that's another argument, and I'm frustrated with that and the resources that we put in as Americans, but it's a burden to our societies because then we have to somehow lift them up, right? And, the kid here, one day is going to remember it, grew up poor. Hopefully they become something. It's the American dream. I get that. And I get, if I was in their shoes, I'd probably do the same. If I was too poor to start the process legal, wasn't educated, I'm jumping that fence, right? And a little bit the Christian in me feels for them. I understand. But there's also a realistic side that, dude, I cannot help you. I can barely help myself, especially in this economy we live in with hyperinflation, right?
Here, More than 68,000 of them are still in the care of the city, and space is running out. For now, Robinson counts himself among the lucky ones. He says he's at a shelter in the Bronx that's safe, a hotel where there are cameras and security. But it's different here on Randall's Island. The massive facility has security but no metal detectors. 2 weeks ago, a 24-year-old man was stabbed in the neck during a fight that resulted in 18 arrests, according to police. And earlier this month, a man was stabbed and killed after a fight broke out inside the tent cafeteria.
It's still an investigation, but it's horrific, to have someone come here to pursue the American dream and see it turn into a nightmare, to lose a life.
CNN has learned.
I mean, that's another problem with the illegal immigration. I mean, on top of a lot, right? I know people are going to span the comments of all the problems, I know. But the crime, you don't know these people. We don't know these people who are coming in. They're not coming in from their country of their origin with documentation showing, yeah, I was an outstanding citizen, where I was coming from, process, we don't know anything about them. They have zero ID, no documents, right? And they call them undocumented. And you're going to have a batch of criminals in there, crazy people, who's going to impact others. And then media outlets are going to paint them as the same brush, like they're all criminals, they're all going to kill you, rape you, this and that, right? Well, it's only a handful of them that do that, but it's unfortunate, right?
Learned there are dozens of security cameras around the island, and the city is in the process of installing more. In the meantime, the administration is also exploring a plan to install metal detectors. While Mayor Adams continues to plead for federal intervention, his administration has put strict limits on shelter stays.
Our humane policy that is, we're telling single adults 30 days, children and families 60 days.
Back at the food stalls, migrants make do with what they have: a steaming pot of coffee and pastries to fry. Sold by migrants at $2 a pop, it will help keep some of them warm overnight. This makeshift camp provides shelter to dozens of migrants who are waiting for placement inside the big tent and city shelters. The crude setup is just one reminder of the struggle migrants here in New York continue to face as winter drags on. Still, Robinson is hopeful.
The reason for the hat is, he says, well, this is the American flag, and the American flag is what's helping me out right now, so I wear it with pride because he's telling me he's hopeful that in the next few months his situation will improve significantly and he'll be able to get settled and provide for his family back home.
I wish the best for this guy. If everything about how they depict him on CNN is true, guy has the will and the American spirit, right? Because if you're not a Native American, you're an immigrant of some fashion, right? Whether it be you directly, maybe it was your parents who migrated here, or your grandparents migrated, or your great-grandparents. If you're not American, Native American, you are some form. That's why, like, legal immigrants, people want to give them crap too, but if I were to give them crap, I'd feel like a hypocrite, right? We do have to have a way of how we process people in. And we can't just do everyone, right? We can't. We don't have the resources. Yet we're somehow just letting people sleep out on the streets. This looks like a nice park out here, but who wants to go walk around that park now? It looks sketchy as hell. And then now people who feel sketched out are going to move out, and then the city's going to be, who do we tax now? We just increase the taxes, and then you're spiraling things out of control. I mean, there needs to be a different process of like how we handle this. Yes, we need stronger border security. Don't get me wrong in this video at all. I'm not here to be like open the borders. We can't afford it. We don't have the resources. We can't do it. We just can't do it. Yes, we're going to get a batch of crazy and criminals. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people there, super poor, have good intentions. They want the American dream. They want to be lifted up out of poverty. I understand that. If I was in their shoes, again, I'd probably do the same. But I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm sure there's people in the comment sections who are going to spew answers and just, if you got deported, you got deported and be like, dude, Technically, when you cross the border illegally, that was an illegal action, right? That was a crime. A fair point. How do you argue that? Like, I feel for the guy, but at the same time, you crossed here illegally. You know, we have laws for a reason. They're not just we pick and choose them. Somehow people think that the border's open, and we could blame the current administration for allowing the borders to be wide open for people to come in. And I know there's an agenda. People say that these people will most likely vote Democrat when they have the opportunity to vote. I can see that, honestly. Like, see, we came here, we helped you. Yeah, but you kind of pissed off every actual citizen who works hard and they're taxed out of their mind in this super high inflation economy. Again, I don't have like an answer. I understand the frustrations for most Americans. I really do. But I think that's it for this video. That's enough ranting. So please like, subscribe, comment below. I do read them. I know this video is going to have some harsh comments, but what can you do? You know, it's the internet. It's the internet. Bye.